I feel Yona is immune to ping, Lambo.
Yeah. He also plays according to what the ping is. I think Yona in general just is a master of all styles in this matchup. And the third game actually starts on Golden Aura even. So this it's just everything is going against Team Liquid at this point. It's not looking pretty.
I want to take a look at Liga quickly, because I feel that there was a time a long time ago where Cure got a surprise victory over Serral, but after that it really has been Serral for a little while. Jeez. 2-0. Okay, 3-2 is actually very close. 4-1, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, 4-1, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. ESL 7, 4-1.
I remember that. He also beat Reynor there, I think, and some other top Zerg. He did something different than the other Terrans. I think he opened... it was the tournament where he opened Drilling Claws, 3cc 2-1-1. And then he played the Drilling Claws drops and just played Mass Marauder Widowmine in the mid game.
Yeah, that vaguely rings a bell. I think I was there. I think I was watching it. I don't know if that was that devastating day where the Euros were happening. And I had to cast 4 best of 7s with Zombie Grub. All 4 TVZ, mate. 4 best of 7s, back to back to back to back. All 4 of them TVZ. All my friends were out watching the Netherlands against Czech Republic. I was kind of sad about it, but I said, don't worry. We're going to smack the Czech Republic anyway, and then I can watch the quarterfinals with my friends. Don't ask me how that went. Oh, Jonas is looking fancy today. He's looking sharp.
He's going with a partner look with his pillow.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Oh my goodness, you've got a great eye for detail, mate. That's cute. Jonas so handsome. He was like, oh no. So you guys are telling me I need to 2-0 this guy? Why me?
Yeah. Not the greatest of positions, although this is sometimes where people shine the most. Where you are the underdog, you can play freely. It's usually just not against Serral that this happens.
You know what I think is funny is that we now look at Golden Aura and we're like, oh, great map for Zerg. Well, in the previous patch, it really wasn't, right? Like, I feel like it was okay, it was playable, but there were plenty of Zergs that actually hated Golden Aura against Terran. So is it just the Widowmine that has changed, or is there something else to it?
Well, it's just that the map pool, in comparison, the other maps are so much worse for Zerg. So that this is our good map now.
Is there anything that like changed patch-wise that actually makes the map a bit better, or is it just that all the other maps are so much harder than Golden Aura?
Yeah, it's just all the other maps are so much harder. Like, this map is good if you want to camp for late game. Spirit plays it, for example, he didn't veto it against me. There are some Terrans that also like this. I think this map is even good for Terran, but yeah. It's better than the rest, that's for sure. Like, I can tell that much. That's why we pick it, honestly.
So Golden Aura just had a huge glow up, you know? It's like when you were friends with a boy or a girl in high school, and, you know, maybe they weren't the prettiest out there, but you were just getting along great, and you see them a couple years later, you're like, damn! Looks good. Is that what Golden Aura is right now?
That's exactly what Golden Aura was.
It's a good thing you were always nice to Golden Aura, Lambo.
Back in high school, we had Pride of Altaris. Casting a huge shadow over maps like this.
10 out of 10. What can you do? Hard to compete with.
That's true.
Are you gonna watch the second Clan War today as well?
I'm gonna watch the first game and then I think I'm gonna practice.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little break because it's actually kind of hot here, and obviously I have the big rain bouts tonight, and doing these like 9-10 hour marathon days, it's not very pleasant when the sun is shining. You feel it's hot. I want to have eat. I want to have some food as well. So just gonna watch this one and then I'll wrap it up.
Makes sense. Are you AC free as well? Or do you have AC
I used to have an AC in my office room upstairs, but then when the Reynor came over once because he needed a place to stay, Reynor was sitting in the living room, and I was like, man, why is Reynor's setup cooler than my setup? Why am I sitting in a tiny cage upstairs? Well, he's living like a king in my living room. So the moment that Reynor left, I was like, fuck it, I'm moving my entire setup to the living room, because I was living alone back then anyway, and I said, why would I sit in a tiny cage on the second floor when I can just be comfortable in the biggest room of the house? But I have no AC in the living room, so that's the only unlucky part. But hey, the sun almost never shines, so who cares?
True.
Some of you guys are asking what ELO is. ELO is basically the MMR system that the WTL guys use for their specific tournaments. Think of the Kung Fu Cuppy, think of Masters Coliseum, think of WTL Code S. And is there another one, Lambo?
No. I don't think so. That's it.
Right. So that's and obviously some random show matches that they run during those big events. And that is how they determine the ELO to all these players. We have hopped into what could be a very long game and could be the final best of 2 of this awesome clan bar, even though it's been a bit one-sided up to this point. But if I've learned one thing against Team Liquid, it is to never ever ever celebrate too early. I did that once in the playoffs on Equilibrium, and every now and then I still wake up and I start sweating. I don't know how that one slipped away. Bottom right side is of course Team Liquid's Cure. Top left side, it is the great Iona Sutala Serral.
That's true. That map existed as well. We had maps like Equilibrium, and now this is our map pick.
Hey, but it had a beautiful glow up.
That's true. It's true. I like it now.
And even Equilibrium does not always guarantee the win, mate.
You don't need to tell me. I was always the worst at the maps where that I don't play on at all. You probably remember a Pride of Altaris game against Diego, for example.
Yeah, in the Caster Civil War.
Yeah, I always struggle on the maps which I just don't get practice time on, even if they're theoretically good for my race. No Terran wants to play custom games with me on Pride of Altaris or Equilibrium, so...
I don't remember all the specifics of that game. I just remember A, it went on forever, and B, we had Ghost and Thor. Like, that's all I remember. An invincible Ghost Thor army that probably went on for at least 45 minutes, give or take, maybe an hour.
Yeah, maybe less. I think he turtled with Ghost Mech, and then once he was max, he just pushed and killed my army and the remax.
There you go. Kalagad. Still got it. What do you make of these openings so far? 2 minutes into Golden Hour.
Looking pretty standard. I like that Cure is cutting the SV scout. Cutting corners against Serral, I think, is pretty smart to do. You don't really need to go for the scout every single time. And I'm expecting Cure to just go 3cc because he always does it. Very often he just goes 3cc Banshee. He also has a GSL match on Sunday, I think. So, where he's playing against Dark. So if he has anything special, I would imagine he's not playing it here. So I'm expecting him to go for something that he has shown before. So whatever his standard was in the past, this is what he's going to do now. This is time for his bread and butter, where he doesn't really show anything, he's just going to try to outplay his opponent.
That is not going to be easy when his opponent is a Serral. We actually got a little bit lucky because the WTO guys moved the dates around, and I had a whole bunch of dates where I knew Yona would be available. And I think initially he was not available for this, but then they started shuffling a little bit, and suddenly we had to play against Team Liquid on the 28th of June. I was like, hey Yona, like I'm actually willing to use a wildcard here because this is obviously a big match. 2 big teams in the world of Starcraft 2, and we love TLs and we want to bring our very best. And he said, actually, I can play that match live. And I was like, alright, that's even better, mate. Let's go.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, we would have used him anyway. Probably use him against Shopify as well, just a heads up, mate.
It's okay, it's okay. We look at the Serral team always with a little bit of jealousy because you know the other two usually need to get 1 map win and then Serral does the rest. That's how it feels like.
It's been a very different experience for me this season, Lambo, not having that guaranteed 2 out to count.
Yeah.
It's only every clan war is scary, man. Like Starlight Twinkle, scary as hell. Bruce Wayne, baby. Like you gotta respect it.
And Bruce Wayne didn't even take a map that clan war, so
says it all, right?
Yeah.
We have Marauders with Concussor Shell on the way. This is actually a build that Cure found some success with a very long time ago against the likes of both Serral and Reynor. But that was an era where Serral very rarely opened up with a Roach Warren, and now we do have a Roach Warren. We know that Yona loves the Roaches, so I am not omega concerned yet, but it would be nice if Serral can get like some sort of a scout or anything that can tip him off here. What are the things that you look for as a Zerg player when this opening is in the back of your mind?
In general, it's you can morph blind banelings if you have a baneling nest. He knows it's already 3cc because of the lack of depots at the front, so yeah, it's just trying to patrol your Zerglings, making sure you see the medevac, rally across, and be active with your Zerglings on the other side of the map. Serral's playing it super safe. He's going for spore crawlers. These are just in case it's a liberator, and he's making blind roaches just in case it's something like this. So he should be safe overall. It has to be said that it's easier to die with roaches than it is with banelings against the spirit. Like defending this with banelings is super free. Defending it with roaches, sometimes the marauders can come on top of you, and you don't really have that much of a time to react because the Viking obviously clears the overlords that are on the way there.
Ooh,
so
that's a lot of drones, by the way. That is a lot of drones right when these units are already on the side of the map, and he's still making drones. Yona actually uncharacteristically greedy, as these marauders are now going to get dropped and they're going to get their concussive shells hits off. A couple hits on the medevac would be awesome, but are these queens shooting at this point? I mean, if this doesn't work for Cure now, it's literally never going to work, by the way, because Yona was very greedy, made nothing but drones, but these queens, they can buy time, but they can't buy time forever.
yeah, still he killed most of the Hellions already. He actually killed 2 Hellions with his Zerglings with a wraparound on the back, which was huge. Because now the reinforcements are going to be so much stronger against the army that Cure still has left. 5 queens are still alive. He's focus firing down the medevac. Medevac goes down. And at this point, this is pretty much cleared up. Now this is a 3cc attack. The Liberator also being rallied into the queens. This is just Marauders, so Zerglings plus drones will clean this up. The question is just at what cost?
The cost of losing 10 drones, 9 drones at the moment, and obviously a couple queens went down. I mean, in the end, I'm okay with it, how it went. Of course, there's a world where Serral can defend this a little bit better and more optimal, but he was mega greedy, and he saw this incredibly late. So there is a world where we lose all the queens, and then we lose more drones. And I think I'm kind of alright with the position that Serral is in. Not loving it, but I just feel like it could have gone worse.
It could have gone worse for sure. I think he's ahead actually. I think he's decently far ahead as well because Cure didn't start any upgrades. Now it always, as a viewer, it might be confusing because it's a 3cc opener, so you would think that if you deal any damage, this is great, but you spend a lot of money that usually goes into infrastructure like extra barracks and extra e-base, which now he doesn't have. So for the next couple of minutes, he will have way fewer units than he would usually have. So you can see this reflected in the supply in about a minute or 2 from now, where Cure is just not going to have anything, which means the Zerg can drone very, very freely, and his upgrades are also super late. This is what Cure sacrificed in order to be able to do this push to begin with, and that's why Serral should feel completely free to spread creep and make drones and tech up. These 3 things, there's very little Cure can do against it now.
Yeah, Cure knows that. He's going to try to push the creep back a little bit with these initial marines, but roaches are here on the edge of creep to protect it. Obviously, as soon as Hive is done, Serral is going to fire up a Reynor glands, a couple Vipers. You also think he goes for an Ultra Cavern, or is it a bit too early to think about that?
I think he's going to go for Ultra Cavern right away. He even built a CC on location, which on Golden Aura I think is a fair thing to do. Serral scouts it, so he knows, okay, Cure is probably going to camp for the rest of the game, because if you're not in a good position, I don't think you can attack into these roach-based styles, especially with how late his upgrades are. I would like from Cure to even see a 3rd factory before extra barracks, because Marines without upgrades are just so bad at defending. So I think what he needs is walls and tanks if he wants to survive the onslaught that is about to happen once the Vipers have their energy.
Yep, Liberator is very useful obviously as well, as Serral should not have a lot of NTR on the other side of the map. We'll have some Ravagers. 5 Vipers, by the way, Serral. That's a lot of Vipers. I mean, I like it, I guess. If there's no Ghost Academy, and there won't be, there's not going to be any Vikings on the side of Cure. 5 is definitely pushing it, but I don't hate it. Abduct the city, baby.
Yeah, I don't. It's good in this scenario, but if the Terran actually makes Vikings against this style, a lot of Terrans started making blind Vikings because you play Ravagerling Bane Viper. You can't, like the Vipers are basically used as Banelings if there's Vikings because you don't have anti-air. So you can patrol them super far ahead of your base and make sure that the Vipers will die whenever they commit. But I don't know if Cure is such a player. He's playing the old school late game where he goes 8 Rex and not extra factories. Bjorn, for example, plays 4 factories.
Nice multitasking here by Cure, right? Being in the top side and bottom side at the same time, but now unfortunately he's not paying attention and it's slow Banelings off creep that connect, right? When you give the man a compliment. I wanted to compliment him on at least denying that goal for coming online in the bottom left, but obviously Serral's already sitting on 5 bases. And yeah, that slow Baneling connection, that's a painful moment for Cure. Does seem to happen to him every now and then in this matchup. He's obviously great at many things, but when it comes to having an army at home and then an army in the bottom left and top side of the map, there will often be a moment where Cure is going to fumble a little bit.
Yeah, I think Cure is like the Korean version of Piotr, where he's good strategically, has a big variety of builds, he plays very cleanly, but speed is not necessarily his strength. So yeah, that goes to what you were saying as well. And I thought that was super funny, the Jinx, when you just compliment him. He had the watchtower as well, so he saw it coming.
I know. Alright, here we go. Serral, can he get the W for us? One win is all that Basilisk needs to get all 3 points here as he lands a couple of abducts. These tanks are all going to get picked off. Corrosive balls. Massive overkill there, by the way. 5 Ravages sending their corrosive ball for a 10 HP tank. But hey, a kill is a kill. The Ultralis Cavern is online. The man has fired up. Kindness plating too. Gets the sensor tower here. That's going to make it a little bit harder for Cure to figure out where Serral is coming from. First wave, I'd say, was a success as once more there are Banelings connecting with Marines off Crip. And the first game, guys, does get played on US West. Don't forget about that. This is the server where Korean players have an advantage over Europeans. Serral is looking good, but I would love to see him find even more with the next wave.
Yeah. This is the point of contention for Serral. He knows that this is the most open area that he's gonna get, and he can just continuously crash into this 5th base. And I'm not sure if he realizes, but he's also had an upgrade, so at some point in this game, there's gonna be +3 armor ultras against only +2 attack marines, so the ghost and the tanks will really need to carry their weight during these engagements, as there's 4 Vikings at the frontier. This is exactly what I was talking about. It's very annoying. You can see Serral needs to go back and take it very, very slowly. Sure, not
so well done
there.
though, with the queens there in the front lines, a double parabomb. The man has just killed 4 Vikings and lost absolutely nothing. Drops another parabomb on these medevacs. The medevac's not really moving, so that is a double kill. And if Serral can just get the planetary here, he is doing a phenomenal job for us, and of course he will get it. He is going to retreat temporarily. 98 Zerglings on the production tab. We've got 5 drop lords as well on the right side. They're empty at the moment. Could be a massive fake. That'd be a cool play too.
That would be a cool play. Expecting a Terran to look at the minimap doesn't always work. Like, I've done fake Baneling drops and then they just don't pull the SCVs. But there's actually a Viking spotting, which I also think is quite smart from Cure. He knows this Viking is already low HP. It's just going to die to a parasitic bomb most likely, so he uses it as an anti-Nidus, anti-Dropper Lord Viking, which I think is super cool.
Gotta love it. We've got a Nidus network coming up as well. There are only orbitals here, but there is a tank keeping it safe. Yona really hates it. Them sensor towers. He takes this one out. That one low HP Viking is gonna get a couple of hits off, but not enough to deny any of these drop lords to make it into the main. Here comes the Ling invasion, and obviously Serral wouldn't be Serral if he's not planning on another attack at that 6 o'clock base.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not attacking at the exact same time. He's probably waiting for the Vipers to get closer.
Yeah.
So he's gonna try to kill the planetary again. I wish Cure would make this base into an orbital, by the way. I think it's a mistake making it into a planetary because you can't lift it and can't save it, especially if you have high ground tanks. See, exactly like this. Like, you just lift this, you see, and then the tanks on the high ground will always eventually force the Zerg back, and then you just put it back down again. You might lose the SCVs every time there, but you're not planning on moving out anyway, so I would prefer him to just make this into an orbiter. He's remaking the planetary though.
That was actually pretty well defended by Cure, and perhaps not the best way by Yona. It would have been better if these things would have happened at the same time simultaneously. It makes it a lot harder for Cure to micro those Marines on 2 sides, and obviously make sure he reduces the surface area. But the good news for Serral is that he is damn rich, and he's actually mining of the 2 bases that normally are supposed to go 50-50. Zerg, more often than not, mines at the bottom left. They get their hands on the top right, but eventually they will lose it, and then the Terran takes control of it. If we're thinking about proper late game or end game, as some people like to call it, Cure is nowhere near that, right? Cure is nowhere near thinking of moving out and fighting over the top right or bottom left, while Serral is already comfortably mining of both bases.
Yeah, I also love the Yona Nidus. He's the one that made this one happen, where he always puts the Nidus away from the hatchery, so if you are out of position from these exposed bases, you can still save the drones and just rotate them towards the other side of the map. So that's something very cute that Yona started doing, that a lot of people now have copied. As he's going once again, still no 3-3 for the Terran, so these ultras are going to be super tanky against the bio itself. He decides to not go for the full engagement. He doesn't really need to do it. As long as he mines the top right, he can wait until Cure tries to take a 6th base or push one of the sides. it's kind of on Cure to do something.
Yeah.
So Serral can wait until Cure exposes more of his tanks, more of his bio, towards either the far bottom left of the map, or to expand towards the top right, which would mean that he needs to split his units a little bit more and then find a more favorable engagement. That one doesn't look too good on the ramp, but he still gets a couple of tanks, and somehow it didn't even end up that poorly for him.
Yeah, no, that actually looked like a decent amount of Terran units going down there. Absolutely have been loving these screens here at the front line. Cure is going to throw down another skin to just push the creep back a tiny bit. But Cure needs a lot more than just stabilizing on these 5 bases that he's currently working with. Of course, he can always still take the 6 that's above his main. But ideally, if this game does truly go on for a long time, he needs to start slowing Serral down mining of these corner bases. Otherwise, there really is no happy ending here. I mean, we can sit off creep with Ghost, liberate a tank forever. I think Serral's is going to become a little too rich.
Yeah. And Cure will run out of resources eventually as well. He's trying to take the gold base, which I think is not the correct approach. I think his better chance would be to take the top 6 base and then push the top right base, because that also has way more resources to work with. The gold base isn't a full base, and the amount of minerals that are left to mine is actually very important at this stage of the game. So I don't mind him pushing here and denying this base in general, but then I would rather see him expand towards the top himself, because this also splits him, but for a lesser, for a worse outcome.
I feel that Serral should be able to take a good fight here, by the way, with the Ultras, the Queens. This army of Cure is really not that powerful. I know the Ghosts are the scary part, and they are waiting on the low ground. And maybe Cure's setup here is a tiny bit of bait, knowing he's going to lose some of these units. Yona, the disrespect, as he's going to take the 6th base of Cure. I mean, we talk about how one of the corner bases belongs to Cure, but that base absolutely does belong to Cure.
Yeah, but Serral sees that, okay, you want to defend the bottom left side somehow, you want to take that base, then I just take the right side completely. Because Cure can't be on both sides of the map. I mean, he can if he drops units there, but...
I mean, eventually if Cure, his armies, his SCV count goes down a little bit, his army supply will go up. He ain't quite there yet, and he probably feels it's a little bit too early to start donating SCVs. As Serral finds another pickup. Serral's done such a great job here. I would love to see the unit's lost resource tab. I don't know if you kept an eye on it, because with all those kills on the Vikings and tanks over and over again, I actually feel that some of Serral's trades have actually been pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think Serral should be like down 7k resources at this point, not maybe too much more. As he engages in once more, like this is a cost-effective trade for Cure for sure, but he needs even better than that. He's now making Thors in case there are Broodlords, which they absolutely aren't. He's starting a Hellbat transition as well. He's starting Blue Flame. Yona just finds something with the corrosive bites always.
Yep, and I love a double kill with corrosive bites, where it's oracles or medevacs. It's just cool. When even those are connecting, you know, it's unfair. And even if that previous fight, by the way, by Serral may not have been the best trade, what he does do is he pushes Cure all the way back again, technically, right? Because Cure loses his entire staging ground on the high ground, so he needs to unseat some tanks, move the tanks back up. We are spamming parasitic bombs non-stop, and if a Queen just shoots once or twice at a Viking, that's pretty much a guaranteed Viking. These tanks are exposed. Ghost could be in a tiny bit of trouble. Whoa, that medevac was mega low on HP. Imagine if an abduct would have landed on a medevac carrying 4 Ghosts. Serious precious cargo. But again, Serral pushes Cure back all the way to the bottom of this ramp, while he's still mining from the top right, and he's still mining of the bottom left.
Yeah, and he's even mining off Cure's base in the center right now of the map as well, so... I mean, Serral is just trying to buy time for mining out this gold base, and also just any trades are good for him at this point. He's just out mining Cure to a degree that is not normal for this matchup.
This command center reminds me of myself in high school when we had a group project. I'm gonna take this base, right guys? Like, if you guys just lay the foundation, I promise I'll be useful. But hasn't really been very useful ever since. A couple of blinding clouds going down, tanks once more derping. One of the Thors is gonna get surrounded, will get blown up as well. I mean, sure, the Ghost, they should stay safe near the planetary. I think even a Ghost or 2 went down there. But Serral is just making it impossible. The guy from Lord of the Rings, you shall not pass. Cure realizing that he can actually cloak as he sees no overseers here. I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen Ghost cloak. Might be the first time in this game.
Yeah. There's a lot of energy wasted as well, but he didn't really use the Ghost that often, so he still is very healthy in the energy department. I wonder where Cure's army is, because we're constantly just seeing like 50 army supply.
I think he's
maybe
tank
he oversplit
heavy.
units to the right.
I think he's tank heavy. The unit, maybe something was stuck in the main, because earlier he did leave a lot of units behind. I just think there's a lot of tanks sieged up everywhere.
Yeah, that's possible. We can see a big blue blob that just came from the original third base. Yeah, there's so many tanks. That's actually crazy. Yeah, he has given up on the left side. I think that's a good call. I think this is the call that he should have made to begin with. And now he's slow pushing the top. It's just that Yona already set up here now, and he already mined resources from that base.
One power bomb there in the center, by the way. Ooh. Quad kill immediately. Because we are gonna just spam them on the Vikings, and a lot of these Vikings will fall. Here come the Ultras, here come the Banelings. The Serral supply is plummeting very, very quick though, because there's Planetary Fortress support here as well. I mean, this was definitely an expensive fight for Serral. Thank the Lord that he's been rich. I think he has been able to evacuate most of the drones of this base too. That was a good fight back here. Can't say it any other way.
Yeah, we see the resource loss now. He's 8k down only, which is completely fine if you mine an extra base. Compared to your opponent, I think that's about 20k resources that you mine and your opponent doesn't. So we can see that reflected in the bank as well. Cure's money will also stop going up as rapidly as it has been going up for the past couple of minutes, because his original 5 bases will all start mining out relatively soon. So Cure needs to make a play towards the top side of the map.
And Cure knows that this is a base that he can absolutely not let Serral get control of. Serral mined some resources, not all that many. We're gonna see if these links can cause some chaos with a tiny run by. There's a free tank there perhaps, even though there's so many gunners nearby to protect it, so Serral does not commit on it. Does find this one. This is some of that supply, by the way, that we were wondering about earlier, right? You see even tanks siege up here. Serral does find a couple of tanks for mostly Zerglings. These are not links, by the way, that you can ignore, because before you know it, you can lose the starport. A little run by in the top right. I mean, Serral has just found like 5 tanks with what? Mostly Zerglings.
Yeah. He needs to be cautious though, because he's gonna run out of minerals as well at some point. I think he pulled drones of the original mineral bases, of the safe bases that he had. So his actual 5th base, for example, still looks very healthy. But he can also run out of minerals and then be forced into Broodlord Infestor, because that's the only gas-heavy composition that you can make.
Yeah, I think the base on the right side of his main is mega fresh. Like he had it for a long time, but he never saturated it. So there are a lot of resources left there. 12 o'clock, I guess, is an easy way to say.
Yeah. He just shuffled 3 ultras towards the bottom left side of the map. He just teleported.
I'm only only time I would get worried about Serral's position is if Cure now slowly gets rid of a couple of SCVs and that Terran army gets bigger and bigger. The ghost control so far has been pretty good. We saw a few Banes connect. It's a shame that Serral wasn't able to land that abduct in the bottom left, because there was a low HP medevac with 4 ghosts inside of it. Also surprised, by the way, that only now we are getting a fusion core to, I guess, work on some advanced ballistics.
Yeah, I wonder if Cure is actually playing for a draw now. If it's a draw, does the map get replayed? Or does it just not count in WTL?
I think it's... I don't know, but I think it's way too early to talk about draws. And as long as there are ghosts...
Yeah, of course. It's not going to end in a draw. It's almost never does. But what I mean is I don't think Cure should move out. I think if Cure moves out, he loses his chance of winning. I think he just is fine with Serral mining the rest, because Serral mined the complete bottom left. Yeah. If he moves out now towards the top right, he's going to take a way worse trade than if he would just literally stay AFK inside his own base. And there's very little resource in the top right. As Serral finally engages in the bottom left, all these tanks that we saw earlier, they got picked off by the Zerglings. So only a single tank and a planetary are there, and he kills the planetary that still had some resources there.
We need to actually properly kill it though, because he was derping a little bit. Only 2 ultras at a time, and there were 26 SCVs repairing this planetary. Look at that PF. It lived for such a long time. In the end, it does go down. But it took a little bit longer than it was supposed to take. Secure is going to take out the top right, meanwhile. Incredibly quick. A couple Banelings would have been nice there, because that base was heavily oversaturated on the side of Cure. So when it was only a couple of ultras attacking it, he was able to repair it with 20 SCVs. And I don't think I need to tell you how good repair is.
No. As a Zerg player, I'm well aware. I've tried to kill a planetary with 30 Hydras and failed, so...
Unless I've got Immortals, I'm staying away with those bad boys.
Yeah, Baneling is kind of the key unit there for the Zerg, as even these couple of resources, there's probably like around 2,000 minerals still there left to be mined in that base. So that's nice as well for Serral to deny that, because I don't think Cure is ever going to mine that for the rest of the game. Now starting to pick off some air units.
I love
this
it.
is where Serral is the best at.
Yep.
He just finds these pickoffs. He constantly seems to have the time to micro his units and then find the exact spot where the Terran isn't paying attention, even though he's moving through a sensor tower.
This is what makes Serral Serral, right? Because it may not seem like it's that impactful to kill 2 Vikings and a Liberator, but if you do this 10 times over the last 8 minutes, it does truly start adding up, and that's how he just keeps them broke. As Serral says, it is time to take out another base. This may be a base without any resources, but it's always nice to open the doors for eventually your attacks to become a bit more terrifying and find some more success. You know, if you're Cure, it's kind of sad as well. It's almost like this guy that has dedicated his entire life to find that treasure. And then you finally have the coordinates on a map. And you spoke to the right people on the island. And they know where the ship went down. And you make it to the top right. And there are 500 minerals left on every single mineral patch. You're like, what the hell? I dedicated my life to this. Like, this ain't worth it.
Yep. There is not much loot to find over here. He's dropping the moves. He's even making a planetary to, I guess, keep the position safe. But yeah, Serral did a good job at taking this base early on. I think he took it at like the 13-14 minute mark, and he has mined it ever since with a full saturation. So Cure will not get that many more resources. The most his freshest base is a 3 o'clock position, and other than that, there's not much more. So the question now is, can you?
Sorry, go ahead.
Can you trade efficiently enough? Is all I was gonna say. As Yona actually lost a Viper there to the Ghost in the end.
I was very worried he was about to pull a Reynor there, but Reynor would have lost both. So just losing one is okay.
I would lose all the Corruptors, you know.
It's okay. The Corruptors, I mean, sure, they are kind of expensive, but the Vipers are just nice to always have around to get those non-stop pickups and some value here and there. 9 Broodlords on the way for Serral. First time Broodlords are going to make an appearance in this game, as we have those Infestors that you mentioned earlier as well. Combo of a fungal growth, a parasitic bomb, and then the Broodlords doing their thing. I like it.
Yeah. This is the only time where you make Broodlords, is when the game is so static that the Terran can't just push on 2 sides and then push wherever the Broodlords aren't, because the Terran army then is more mobile. And it's also when you want to spend your gas. It's like the most gas intensive army that you can make, the army that can actually trade somewhat evenly against what the Terran has. Also,
yeah, go ahead.
I watched Yona stack 5 drones on a very left mineral patch so they don't get shot by tanks. This guy is such a tryhard.
And I'm very happy that he is, mate. He's fighting for us, and Basilisk just needs one more win. Important. I know a lot of you guys join while these games are going on. In the WTL code, as you play best of 2s, there are 3 individual best of 2s. The first team that gets 4 map wins will take home 3 points. If the score is 3-3 after 6 games, we go to a best of 1 ace match. So if Serral wins this one, we get the dub. Of course, we'll play that final game as well, but it won't be all that important anymore. The Broodlords have revealed themselves over here in the top right. The Liberators are gonna get abducted. Another tank gets abducted. The Vipers have been awesome.
Yeah, good Viper usage from Yona. I wonder if his plan is to push here, or if it might be smarter to push towards the bottom with the Broodlords. I guess he's still mining from this space, so he can't leave the space alone. He needs to have his Broodlords position over here.
Almost feels like he was thinking of a surround there, but that seems very risky. One fungo whiffs. This game, of course, played on US West. The first game always gets played on US West when it's Koreans against Europeans. I mean, Cure's army supply right now is pretty intimidating, 170, and the ghost count is relatively high.
Yeah, I think the game plan from Serral right now is to wait until he's fully mined out and just not do anything until then, because he's happy with how much of the map he has mined, and then he just says, okay, at that point I'm gonna start trading. He goes forward, finds this planetary. Now I don't think Cure is gonna keep fighting for this, because it's only gas left to mine there.
Cure's got gas. Doesn't really have gas for days, but he does have gas.
Where is Cure going? Is he actually gonna attack?
I think the bottom. There's still money left in the
still.
bottom. It ain't much, but it's honest work. 600, 600, so around 1350 left here. Look at Serral. He's there immediately.
I'm surprised he's pulling everything because the top base has significantly more resources still left to mine.
You mean the one next to Serral's main?
Yeah, the 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but does he know? Wait. Oh, that one. Okay, from Cure.
Yeah, from Cure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Cure is moving everything here because just Ling Bane could kill the 3 o'clock right now.
Yeah, that's an important one. Obviously, Serral still has plenty of resources at his 12 o'clock base, and Serral now has taken the extractors in the top right. So he says, if you don't want that gas, that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and get my hands on it. Serral's drone count has also gone down a little bit, which I do think is important. At this point, A, it's completely useless to have 80 drones, and B, you make life so hard. Because 120 supply of Zerg is never gonna kill this army of Cure.
Yeah. He's so good at this alert movement, it's crazy. Cure didn't go for the Viking version, where you go Viking Liberator and he can't transition anymore. He did go for the Thors and he's committed on that army now. So wherever the map gets choky, it should favor Serral significantly. So Serral wants to force Cure into chokes, and Cure wants to fight with a huge concave. That's what the two players now want.
Few Link still looking for some freebies, but Cure's got a pretty good setup defensively, so that's not gonna be that easy anymore. Comes down to the spellcasting. Cure looking for some big EMPs as well. Serral's gonna make that incredibly hard for him.
Oh, good final there initially. Gets a lot of units with the Broodlords before any of the Broodlords die. And I think now Serral should kite here because this looks like a bad engagement if he decides to go for it. Loses a couple of Broodlords at the tail end of the fight, but huge final once again. The Broodlords getting so much value there together with the spell casting.
A Paro Bomb as well there, right? The combo of Fungal Growth and Parasitic Bomb on a couple of those Vikings and Liberators. We saw Cure kill some of his Medivacs earlier as we have a tank drive-by. Hashtag rollout. Roll of tanks, baby. It's a great game, Lambo. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you were paid to say that, but...
Many years ago I may have been, but actually that game is not that bad, I mean it.
Yeah.
It is a pay-to-win game, that's the bad part about it, but other than that it's not a bad game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Serral looking for more freebies as he has plenty of energy left on his Infestors, by the way. Could land some sick Fungals, Liberators leading the charge. I don't know where the Vipers are at, but that's the beautiful thing about Serral. He's always hiding them. There goes one of these Parabombs. The Banelings finding some good connections. Goals start dropping. I mean, Serral is losing low supply as Neuro Parasite is going to come into play as well, but all the Infestors do end up dying. Thank the Lord that Serral is rich, and he's going to remax on 66 Zerglings and 9 Ultras. I mean, I don't hate it. Cure doesn't even have the money to repair this army anymore.
Yeah. Like, this is exactly what it looks like when... Like, Serral won the game not because of this fight, but because of how the game went the previous 20 minutes. It's just because he mined more of the map that he now has more resources. He can remax twice, and Cure cannot remax even a single time. Even though he had more units left over, he has no resources left in the bank. So Cure is now staying at home, and now I think he's actually playing for the draw, but there's no way at this point.
Does he have money to repair his Thors, you think? I don't think so, right? It's too expensive.
No. Yeah.
Too expensive. Is this it? Is this going to be the push that's going to put Basilisk up 4-1, which obviously means that this clan war will come to an end. 4 points is all you need for the 3 points in the regular season. Both teams had 4 wins and 2 losses coming into today. I don't know about Infestors leading the charge. Broodlords coming in from the top right. I want to say I like more, but the Ghosts actually sniped each and every single one of them. So this becomes an important fight for Serral. How good are these Ultras? The Space Cows against the Thors and the tanks. I'm very happy that a couple of them are low on HP as Cure is running out of units, ran out of money, and that will do it, Lambo. GG gets called. Serral secures the W for Basilisk.
GG. Well played by Serral. And Cure just pressed rewind and he saw that Serral was still maxed.
And it's like it was so close in my mind. But
yeah. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. When I play late game against Yona, I tap out and he has a bank.
Alright, we do get one more map, guys, because there is a bit of money on the line for every single game that gets played in the regular season of WTL Code S. And no matter the score, we always play out the 3 initial best of 2s. But no ace matches today. Cure is going to pick a Ghost River. Maybe Serral can give us more of that Serral magic he showed versus Oliveira on this map.
True. I wonder what he's going to do this time. if he busts out the Ling Bane again or if he goes for roaches. Also, the map score just in general is important, right? Very often the map score actually decides in one of the positions which team gets which position in the playoffs, and the positions are very important because it advances you in the bracket. You basically need to play less matches.
I just want to make sure that Liquid Clump doesn't have his weird weekend again where he becomes absolutely invincible. And I feel pretty good, mate, no matter where we start in those playoffs.
Okay.
But it would be fun as well to actually have a few more matches at once, because previous seasons we did very good in the regular season, but then the playoffs didn't really go our way. Perhaps we just need to heat up like a diesel engine.
True. Yeah, there can be an advantage to it as well. But even just two of these clan wars in the postseason can take forever. So it's also, it can be draining. It definitely also can be an advantage to have less matches.
For sure, I think that's actually where we made a little mistake in the first season of our playoffs. The first time ever we made playoffs, we let Serral start, and Serral all killed. What's the name of the Korean team again? It's not really a team. Where they...
Navi? No, Envy.
No, when they just team up together, when they're all teamless and they form a team to play in the... Damn it, what's it called? They had the weird symbol. How was that called again? You know which one I mean. Abydos.
No, I don't know
Abydos Gaming, you know? Abydos.
Okay. I know which team that is.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys played against them.
Yeah, the first season we played against them, and then Serral all killed, but obviously that kind of drained Serral a little bit, and maybe that made him a bit weaker into the finals, because that was on the same day. And perhaps that was a bit of a mistake. Anyway, we live and we learn. It goes River Lambo. Top left is Cure, as he's playing for honor. And a point, top right, protecting his great stats. I think the man with the highest win percentage record in regular season history of the WTL Code S, it is Serral.
Yeah, pretty nice. He's going gas pool. So a different opener from him as well. Once again, the pool first to get the third base down, but also with some aggressive potential against CC first from Cure. If Cure doesn't scout, this is going to be trouble for Cure. The reason this is worse, usually CC first is very good against pool first, but against gas pool, you have way more SCVs on your natural than you usually will have. So just 8 speedlings can completely ruin your day as a Terran with this build order matchup.
And Cure has not scouted yet. No SCVs heading to the other side of the map. 2 gases coming online. Serral is going to make a few links. I was chuckling a little bit earlier because Serral took his hands off the keyboard and he started stroking his chin. And one time my brother was bragging about how good he was at Red Alert, and I was like, alright, I'll come over, I'll watch you play a game. And it was the ultimate dad gaming pose I've ever seen. Only mouse, click, 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 one hand underneath his chin. And Serral just reminded me of my big brother. In his mind, a top video gamer.
Yeah, I think Serral's just gonna hide his Zerglings. This is looking good for Serral so far. I think Abydos was just Team Envy, by the way. No, when Team Envy disbanded, they just made Abydos, and it was exactly the Envy players, if I recall correctly.
But I think they opened the doors for more as well, and they had that weird symbol that reminded me of a certain time period.
Okay. I thought the symbol just looked like Aston Martin.
Yeah, a little bit as well, but I don't know. It's okay. Moving on.
Oh, this is so lucky for Cure. He didn't pay attention. Okay, now he's looking.
Yeah. I think he saw it towards the very end.
Well, he's not pulling the SCVs to his main. The SCVs need to be pulled to their main, otherwise he does. Okay, now he understands. Is it in time?
No, don't forget, it's ping advantage. I don't know you can do the swapperoo here. I don't think you can. Exactly, he wanted to swap the factory with the barracks. But now he's going to actually be forced to repair that depot. I don't know what we're doing with our Reaper. I guess our Reaper just died. We really need to start repairing. The man will repair. Is that enough? Yes, that is enough.
Yeah, the Reaper barely got away into his own main base. Was chased by like 2 Zerglings. And this is still annoying for Cure because he now doesn't have enough units to retake his own natural. 2 Marines and a Hellion is not enough against 10 Zerglings, so... Even now, Yuna is being very annoying, even though he didn't get a lot of SCV kills here, he just got 1 plus the depot. But it's still an annoying position for Cure.
There's a Roach one as well, going down on the production tab. think there's a chance we get a quick follow-up, or maybe we get some fancy Drop Lord Queen play, Miko style?
I think that's only 2 base build. In that case, you already would have needed the lair. This would be a little bit too late. I'm expecting him to just go... He could Roach Ravager Lingolin, but for that he would have needed 2 extra gases already. So I think he's just going to play normal Roach and maybe go into Ultras, is my expectations for this game.
I think even Yona would be down to play another 35-minute ZVT on Ghost River if that's what it takes to protect his stats.
To protect us. I don't know how much he cares about that. I think he's going to go Ultras and try to run it down.
I mean, even it's going to be a little bit exhausting as this Viking does get that final volley of kills the Overlord. That's nice. Serral looking for a tiny surround, but he ain't getting it. So obviously he does have ping advantage this time around. Gets to play on US Central. Not having to do it on Ghost River. Still probably kind of annoying. What would you rather do, mate? Play on a good map for you on US West, or you play on a bad map, or play on US Central?
Good map on West, for sure. Maybe not on this map pool, because but in general against Terran, I think ping matters the most. Also from the Zerg side, it's extremely annoying to play on ping. But I still think having a good map is better than the ping advantage.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hello Gemini, hello Franzi, welcome guys. As we have Cloak on the way for a Cure. This final match, that doesn't really matter. No more stress, no more pressure. We don't have to worry about ace matches, etc. Obviously not very fun for the neutral spectator, but good news for me. Well, a nice little win streak now, by the way, Lambo. Started the regular season off 0-2, now 5-2. We're coming.
That's true. You guys still have all the top teams so left, right? Well, with this week as well. You guys didn't even start against the top teams.
That's not true. We played DKZ.
All right, so you played one of them. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was very surprising to see the start that you guys had against quote-unquote not the top teams, even though Starlight Twinkle is not to be underestimated, of course.
No. Yeah, that was a bit of a hiccup. I think DKZ could happen, especially if we don't have Yona. Like, obviously, they have a very good team. 1-1 upgrades and combat shield on the way for Cure, as Cure is just chilling. He is going to take his time. Throws out a scan and actually ruins all of the hard work of Yona when it comes to spreading the creep on the top side. Perfect timing on this Spore though. Kind of feels like this game is going to slow down a little bit. We have a Hydralisk then on the way. Do you think we're going to get some quick Lorcas then?
Yep, has to be. It's the Cave Bob style that Dark popularized a little while ago. Which means that Cure has to play late game. There's no way he can attack into this. Unless he has a super good early game, it's very difficult to punish the Zerg for doing that. But this style's weakness is that you can't do anything aggressive right away. So if you know this is coming, you can, for example, as a Terran, go Horde CC on location, make an orbital there because you don't really have a lot of links to run by any of that, and then go into a late game, start Ghost Academy super early, and just start the late game with a head start. We'll see if Cure figures this out, because so far he obviously didn't scout the Lurker then or the Hydra then.
But this is also not something we say very often. Serral was actually a bit out of position to deal with his drop, and Cure couldn't really believe it either, right? That's why he was so cautious. He's like, oh, I'll work on the extractor. And he's like, wait a minute, I don't see any units. And all the units that were in the center of the map now had enough time to make their way back home. I think if Cure played it a tiny bit more YOLO and he stims forward, it takes out the Spore, he actually could have done a little more than just kill an extractor.
Yep. Now, obviously, this mistake that won't happen twice to Yona. He now has 2 Spores in position plus a couple of Roaches. As he starts up his first Vipers, he's also going to start up Lurker range probably the moment the Lurker then is done, and then he's going to try to look towards, moving towards the other side of the map, and either hit with a Blinding Cloud attack or just abduct tanks one by one.
I can't believe that this has now been a 2-hour clan war already and we're not even going to an ace match. It doesn't happen very often in WTL, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
4 base Yona is about to make it 5 base, and as the first Lurkers on the way, Cure is going to get that second factory. In the previous game you mentioned you really felt he should have gone triple factory rather than extra barracks. He did not end up doing that. Is that something you would also enjoy on Ghost River, or would you say it's completely unnecessary?
I think it's good in general. I just hope that he doesn't max out with Marine tank, because you need to trade these units away against the style that Serral is playing. I tried to teach this to Bjorn as well. It's difficult to tell Bjorn to not make Marines.
I believe that, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, but then Maru did it, and then some turns started copying it as well. So now Bjorn does it too.
Look at Serral. He's like he is forced to cancel the bottom right, and now he takes center left. If Kier accidentally flies a medevac there, Marini's gonna be like, mate, come on now. That base does absolutely not belong to you. This ain't Golden Aura, but Serral's already here with his Vipers. He's gonna land a couple of abducts, gets 2 tanks very quickly. Do we have a Ghost Academy at all? Like, I don't think we do, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a mistake. I think Kier didn't realize what he was up against for too long. And I mean, he should still start the Ghost Academy. It's a very cheap building. It builds very quickly.
And it is very tanky.
Yeah, it's very tanky. It lets you copy that.
3 queens are gonna get picked off here, and the drone. Serral is gonna load a couple lurkers, as he's gonna maybe spread those between the natural and the main base. That could really cause crazy chaos. Because right now Cure doesn't have the easy anti-lurker units, right? No liberators, no ghosts with snipe. So if you're forced to stim into them if they're already burned, that's gonna be annoying. Don't forget the E-base are here as well. I wouldn't even hate almost all the lurkers going at this point, and that's basically what Serral does, all but one. I love it. I would love to see him go for the eBay, but obviously that's risky because you want to make sure that you have an answer if he snipes in. That one drop lord does get picked up with the lurker inside of it, but this is still a lot of lurkers. At least 2-2 is going to finish off for Cure.
And Cure had 2 tanks in position, but he rallied them into the lurkers. So before that, I thought it was fine as long as his upgrades finish. It's not too bad for him. But now it's going to take forever for him to get rid of these lurkers in his own natural, because as you said, there are no liberators. He has 0 ghost, so he needs to siege his tanks forward slowly but surely. And he's not doing a good job of that because there's obviously other things going on.
He's going to see this base now, by the way, for the first time. And lurkers just burrowed. WTL Observer one time. Show us the lurkers. Oh, lurkers are battling Marines in the center of the map. And the WTL Observer did not give it them.
He did not give it them. I think he just didn't know. Poor guy. Trying his best. So yeah, Serral once again engages. He gets one of the tanks, throws down a parasitic bomb as well at the same time. And yeah, he now has a completely illegal base. Yeah. I've never seen a Zerg actually mine from this, but Serral is doing it now.
We did manage to sneak a couple ghosts out, and those ghosts, one snipey at a time, do manage to clean up the natural, but it took a long time. Cure's economy obviously hurting a little bit. More lurkers making their way forward. They have a planetary here. Planetaries will buy some time, and it's not just marine tank anymore. There's a couple liberators in the mix too. I wonder what the lurker count is at the moment. I see 7 of them on the production tab. How many do you think Serral has left overall?
I think not that many, so I think it's overall 10 maybe after the 7 finish. I think it's very interesting to see that Serral is staying on a super low junk, and it's almost as if he's trying to bait Cure to attack into him, because you see this base as a turn and you think, okay, this can't be possible. I cannot let this go down, and then try to overwhelm him with a huge army supply, because at this point usually you want 80 to 90 drones at the very least. And Serral doesn't have any of that, so even though this game is going super for him so far, his bank is not as oppressive as it was the last couple of games. And Cure is doing exactly that now. He's going for the push. He's F2ing all of his units towards the bottom. And he's gonna try to kill that base. Yona ready for it, and he's instantly counter-attacking. This is not a wall, by the way. I'm not sure why we're pretending that this is actually a wall up. But there's just 3 random depots. Unloads both lurkers.
Of course he is able to unload both lurkers right before the end. Couple Vipers in the mix, and first abduct is going to be a fact. And now Serral's going to move the lurkers back, knowing that the ghosts are getting a little bit closer. I mean, Cure's got a very good army. As Serral is firing off 7 more overlords, by the way, gives us the feeling that he probably wants to go for more dropper lord play, knowing that otherwise it's going to be very hard to slow Cure down. How does Serral break Cure here? Because it does look like Cure is pretty bulletproof, no?
It does look like it. I think he's just banking on Cure moving into him. Because if Cure just sits there, his army is so good, there should be no way for Serral to ever engage. So he's trying to trade over time with these abducts. It's crazy that his opponent has Vikings and like 20 ghosts, and he still manages to find abducts.
Yeah. I think Cure is just looking elsewhere. There's a drone now attacking an SCV in the bottom left. Cure maybe was still busy with those lurkers from the drop lord on the top, as we do see a scan on the minimap go down. Yona sends over a couple of roaches and a single Hydra. Oh, Ghost Miss Rally. These are pickups that do really matter. I mean, Cure has ghosts for days, and he has money for days. So it's not the end of the world, but that's kind of expensive.
It's very expensive. I think it's always good to picture 3 ghosts dying as if it were 3 tanks, because it's the same cost. And then, like, if you kill 3 tanks, it just looks much bigger. The ghost just looks small. So you might not think it's as impactful, but they're super expensive. If you just look at the banks and the supplies, this usually would look good for Terran. It's just that
It's Yona.
he won't have his... It's Yona and he won't have his 6 base. Like, he needs to do something.
Maybe Cure feels that he has a setup that is good enough that even without the 6 base. This is obviously where ping does start mattering a little bit, by the way. Now we're going to have to play late game on US Central. That's going to be a little bit more difficult for Cure to maybe move those ghosts to safe positions. As Iona fires up 44 links. And a lot of low HP SCVs. It seemed like we had a tiny lurker run by attempt behind. Oh, he has one behind the middle line actually. That's how these SCVs get so low in HP.
I think Cure is slowly running out of scans as well, because he doesn't have that many extra orbitals. Or none. Actually, he has one, I think, next to his 3rd base. And he's morphing one extra one right now.
Look at that tank. Getting a couple of very big shots off. But in the end, Yona still finds a tiny opening. Unfortunately, access denied. And Marines with these upgrades are going to do very well against the Roasters. I don't think Serral's too sad about it. Kind of wants to get rid of them. And he can make better units.
It's still just 2 2 upgrades, by the way. Against +3 armor. So these roaches did surprisingly well against Marines with medevacs. And Cure forgot those upgrades for a little bit once again. Yeah, Cure is just struggling to take his own side of the map, which is something that I usually never see on this map. And it's even more important on this map than on other maps, because you only have 6 bases. So it's not like on Golden Aura, where Yona takes the corner base and then he still has 6 bases for himself. At this point, he only will have 5 bases to mine if he lets Serral mine out his 6th base. And you're not even mining from the bottom left, complete bottom left base now as well.
Cure literally saw that center base, I think like 10 seconds too late. Right when Serral moved lurkers over for the first time to really defend it, and it's like, I'm serious about this base. That's when Cure found it, but it was obviously a little bit too late already to do something about it. While he was so focused on denying center right and bottom right, and he actually was doing a really good job, right? He got back-to-back-to-back cancels, got a kill. So Cure did a lot of things right. It just did not even come to his mind that Serral may have been taking a base on his side of the map. And by the time he saw it, was a little bit too late. These mining clouds are quite big. That's a lot of clumped up tanks. Cure not really ready to take this fight as his supply takes a serious hit. Now we got a lot of Banelings in the mix too. Banelings connecting with goals. Oh, SCVs clumped up. What an attack by Serral. Gets the planetary. Gets 21 SCVs and a bunch of expensive Terran units. Is that it, Lambo?
I think, I'm afraid so. I have no clue why all of his tanks were unsieged. I'm not sure if he misclicked it or if he wanted to move forward in exactly that moment, but they were unsieged for like a solid 5 seconds. And Yona saw it and instantly pounced. And the resource loss is almost even, which is unheard of. Against a Terran that just comes from the get-go. It's so difficult to do.
And on Ghost River as well.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it.
I think that is a feeling that many people have around the world whenever they watch this man play, as the ghosts on the left side are forced to run for the hills. Lings are on top of them. Banelings are still alive as they ran through the center. There was just nothing for them to really connect with. Serral will get a few more expensive units towards the end. There is a very, very low HP Infestor that is waiting to land the fungal. That scan does not reveal it. Serral lost a lot of units there, but Serral is rich is something that Cure is not, as he now even got his hands on the bottom left side.
Yeah, and he's running a lurker back to Cure's forward base once again, which isn't a planetary anymore. There's no tank there either to guard it. I think Serral overmined gas a little bit, so he's struggling with well, he was struggling. He still has a 3k mineral bank, but there's more gas, I think, than he wants to.
Maybe he just ran out of larva for a split second.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Cure is spending his money, and his supply is not looking too hot.
And his SCV count is not looking too hot anymore either. And 35 SCVs is fine if we've got 5k in the bank and we are maxed out. But Cure is nowhere near maxed out. These goals having a very hard time, but good job by Cure actually keeping most of them alive, as he does do something about this bottom left side. So strong minute here by Cure. First a pretty decent fight, now an even better follow-up fight. Serral does need to be a tiny bit more careful, because yes, he's rich, but 1900 minerals is something you can burn through very, very quick.
Yeah. Maybe the play against Serral is to losers pick Dynasty, honestly. Because I mean, this map is too normal. He can still outplay you here. Which is crazy, because this map is really good for Terran, but yeah, it's looking quite one-sided. As you said, I think if he actually managed to kill this base earlier on, this would not have happened at all. Because this base was super killable the entire time.
I mean, I think at one point Serral didn't even really believe in keeping this base alive because he had 0 units here. It was almost like the hidden base from Zerg. And with creep showing up on your minimap, there shouldn't really be a thing. Cure was so focused on center right and bottom right that he saw this a little bit too late. It is a ridiculous amount of lurkers running on top of Ghost. Cure sees it a little bit too late. That could have been slightly more devastating, but Serral still finds more economic damage as Lings and Banes in the center are good enough. Serral does what he pretty much always does, and that is get a 2-0 on the board. Basilisk plus Showtime 5, Team Liquid 1. As we improve to 5 wins and 2 losses in the regular season, and Team Liquid drops to 4 wins and 3 losses.
Yep. So you guys are now tied, but you have more points, I believe, right?
I think we have 1 more point on them, no? Because we were both 4 and 2. I think they were up 2 points. We got 3. They get 0.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus 1.
All right. Plus 1. Looking good. Your team, obviously, if you have Serral, is very, very, very difficult to beat.
And don't forget, they might have me as well.
Yeah, ready for the ace as well.
Yep. I mean, if it's 3-3 Shopify Rebellion against Basilisk, you guys sending out Dr. Dario, I'm sending out myself.
We're down for that, by the way.
Me too.
We can shake on that right now.
No, actually, I don't have I don't have permission to shake on that. But you know what? I know some of the boys might believe in me. All right, Lambo. Thank you so much for asking me if I want to cast these games today. It was a lot of fun, as always. Any final words, mate, before I let you go?
No, just thanks for having me. And yeah, good luck in 2 weeks when we play against each other.
I'm looking forward to that. Wait, what day is that exactly? Let me take a look at the date. Wow, that is the day that the Netherlands are going to become European champions in Berlin. Jeez Louise, what a day.
It's Grand Finals day.
Well, that's going to be a memorable one. I might actually be in Berlin that day, guys, watching the Netherlands win the second Euros that we have ever won. Once more, history is going to repeat itself, but I'll do my best. You know, maybe I can combine the two. Be in Berlin and still play the Shopify Rebellion.
I can't believe it. Earlier, I tuned into RotterdaM stream and he asked me what exactly Germany did. How many times were you guys world champions? The Netherlands?
We made the finals like 3 times, mate.
Yeah, how many times did you win it? I remember
how many
nice
times did we get robbed?
Iniesta, but...
Three times. 3 times we got robbed.
Okay. Well, we won it more than 3 times, so even that is... we will see. We will see how it goes.
I'm not living in the past, mate. I'm living in the present. And all I know is that we're about to lift the trophy in Berlin, baby.
I doubt it.
All right. Mate, have a great day. Greetings and give my love to Loof. And I wish you a great weekend.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Enjoy tomorrow. All right, guys. That was Lambo. Lambo wanted to cast these games with me. I thought it was a fun and a good idea, so we went for it. Happy with this win. Obviously, big win for us. I have on Friday night, we always do the Basilisk Big Brain bouts, so I can show you guys very quickly who is playing tonight. I went for a bit more community focus since A, we have the Esports World Cup qualifiers coming up, and B, we just had a whole bunch of events, so a lot of the pros are taking a tiny break. But tonight, we are giving away $500 to StarCraft 2 video gamers. Very, very, very low level ZVZ here, but we love it. It's Pi, number 1 Basilisk fan. Well, not number 1, but number 1 Polish Basilisk fan. Let's go with that. Versus Serral. That's going to be a very fun little ZVZ. After that, we got Poland versus Netherlands. Once more, Aristori versus Hydra. We've got Nicorach duking it out with Art. And Swordov versus Moja is going to be our main event. I think that's going to be very fun. So, that's going to do it. I literally have less than 2 hours to get ready for that. So, I'm going to go ahead and take a little break. I'll send you guys over to Wardy, and I'll be back online in like 90 minutes. I really need to get some food, relax, power up. Otherwise, I just have literally nothing to say tonight. And that would be a shame. If we're giving away $500, we better do it with some energy. Take care, guys. Much love. Thank you all for stopping by, and give my love to Wardy. Bye-bye. Peace. Another dub. 5 in a row, baby. We'll take 5 in a row.